Coming up. Hey guys, it's Pineapple Crusher here. So, I'm going to be exploring the mission 450. Now, this mission was recommended to me in a comment on one of my videos by John VNC, saying that this was probably one of the hardest levels in the game. And I managed to beat it without using skins or spells. And I have a strategy that works consistently. So I'm going to show you how to beat this level on insane mode with using just the classic skin and no spells. So we're going to break it down wave by wave on how to beat this level, because this level is absolutely insane. Is it the hardest level in the game? Maybe. I don't think so, but this is quite hard. So let's get into it, shall we? Start. Difficulty? Easy. So we're going to be breaking down this level into waves. There are 10 waves, and I think this is the best way of explaining how to beat this level. So for the beginning of the level, my strategy is that I make 8 miners, 5 Spiritans, and 4 archers, and immediately attack. You want your units as close to their spawn as possible for this strategy. And the reason for that is because archers can pick away at you and stuff can build up. Like giants can pile up because they're so slow into next waves, which is why you can lose the level just because of all the giants that pile up in this level. Speaking of giants, you should be saving up for one right now. Anyways, let's move on to the first wave in this level. Wave number 1, Woodland Tribe, difficulty easy. Units, Spiriton, Swordwrath, Archidon, Princess, and Mercenary. For this wave, it's pretty easy. You just take control of the Atreus, and it's really not that bad because you can just sit there and spawn camping. Just be wary of the Princess hitting your Merrics, because you do want them alive, and the Princess hitting him is a very real possibility. So make sure you kill the Princess and the Mercenary first. You should also be saving up to get 4 giants on the map. That way you can spawn camp the enemy much better as the giants have knockback. But anyways, it gets much harder, so let's go to the next wave. Wave 2, Savage Tribe of Morta. Difficulty easy. Units, 3 Swordwrath, 1 Spiriton, 4 Archidon, and 1 Prince. You should have enough to have 2 giants at this point. And the giants should be able to take care of everything except for the Prince, which is the only main problem of this wave. Because of how much health it has, and it can carry over into the next few waves. You should also start saving up for Magic Kill for the later waves, so you can have more sustainability with your setup. Anyways, let's move on to the next wave, shall we? Wave number 3, Elite Glacial Archidons. Difficulty moderate. Units, 11 Elite Archidons. Glacial. This can be a hard wave if you are defending and not spawn camping them, as the Elite Glacial Archidons do heavy damage and will wreck your giants if you're not spawn camping them. Aside from that, they're pretty easy when you are spawn camping them in this way. There's nothing really to say, just have your giants, just knock them back and spawn. Let them do all the work. This wave is pretty easy, and the next one, so I recommend you go back if you have already lost Atreus' spear, because it does 2,000 damage and will be very useful later. You can get Atreus' spear back by garrisoning him. Anyways, let's move on to the next wave. Wave 4, Giant Lava Swordwrath. Difficulty easy. Units, 10 Giant Swordwrath. This is probably the easiest wave in this level. These Giant Swordwrath don't do that much damage, and while the damage reflect is annoying, that's about all it is. They're pretty squishy, and you can just have your giants take care of them. From now on, this level gets much harder. The very end is very insane, and all you gotta do is just let your giants take care of the work, let your Magic Kill take care of the work. Make sure you have 2 Magic Kill by this point, and invest the rest in archers, because you will need it for these last few waves. This next wave is when it starts getting difficult. On to the next one. 5, The Undead. Difficulty moderate. Units, 3 Spiritons, 3 Archidons, 2 Swordwrath, 1 Mercenary, and 1 Giant Pummeler. This wave shouldn't be too difficult as long as you have enough archers and you have Magic Kill. The reason you need Magic Kill here is the giant hits Magic Kill minions first over everything else. Basically, Splash has a priority list, and Magic Kill minions are at the top of it. So you need a couple of Magic Kill just to absorb all the club swings from the Giant Pummeler. and that will make it so none of your actually really important units die at all, and that way you can spawn camp it. Aside from that, there isn't really any other big enemy because the mercenary gets stun locked by giants. It just gets pushed back into spawn, and then archers kill the rest really quickly as well. Anyways, let's move on to the next wave, because this next wave has actually really high health enemies, and this is when the stuff can start piling up. 6. Vampiric Soul Stealers. Difficulty moderate. Units 7 Sword Wrath, 1 Magic Kill, 1 Princess, 1 Giant Pummeler. You need a lot of archers to keep up with this wave. The Princess is there, and it is actually a pretty big danger if you're not spawn camping and knocking it back into spawn. And the Giant isn't too much of a threat. However, the Giant has so much HP, and it regens health because it's going to be hitting your units. So it ends up actually being very difficult to kill before the next wave, and you definitely want it killed for the next wave, because the next wave is one of the worst waves in this level. It's the 3rd worst wave in the level, and that is going to be wave number 7, Voltaic Revolt. Difficulty hard. Units 3 Sword Wrath, 1 Buff Magic Kill, 1 Princess, 1 Giant, 1 Mercenary, and 1 Prince. This is a pretty hard wave. The Giant is decently tanky and does some damage. The Prince has insane amounts of health and takes forever to kill. Sometimes it can even last till the end of the wave, or end of the mission. The Mercenary does a lot of damage as well. And the buffed Magic Kill is super scary if it hits any of your important troops, because it has the highest damage per hit in this entire mission. It can do over 1,000 damage if it hits your units from the back. And that's why I threw my spear into it, because I don't want it killing my giants or my speartons in the front line. And that's also why you want the Magic Kill. You want at least 3 for this wave. Aside from that, you want to make sure that Prince is dead before it piles up with the rest of the next waves. So I recommend going back and using the defend button so that it makes its way up out of getting knocked back into spawn, and then the archers can pick it off from there. Anyways, next wave, which is going to be Wave 8, Sword Wrath and stuff. Difficulty hard. Units 5 Sword Wrath, 4 Sickle Wrath, 1 Xenophon, 1 Bloodblade Leader, and 1 Sickle Wrath Leader. This wave shouldn't be too bad. It's a lot of damage, but you can handle it mostly, as most of these enemies just get knocked back and spawn camped, and they don't actually have that much health. Xenophon doesn't have that much health. The Bloodblade Leader doesn't have that much health. The Sickle Wrath Leader has quite a bit of health, but not nearly as much as the Voltaic Princes and stuff. And this is a wave that you mostly try to get ready for the next wave, which is going to be Wave number 9, the Deads. Difficulty hard. Units 1 Kite Rider, 1 Stone Giant, and a lot of Deads. This is when you should start backing your defense up and not spawn camping them as much, as it's going to be hard to keep your archers alive because the Stone Giant has an Earthquake, and that there's going to be Deads spawning in right next to your miners, and could kill your statue from there. So you should start backing up. Try to make sure that the Kai Rider is facing backwards, because you will definitely want the Kai Rider dead and the Stone Giant dead by the time this final wave hits, because the final wave is insane. Also, you should be user controlling a Spiriton by now, as giants will not be able to live very long against the final wave, which is going to be Wave 10, Swift Giants. Difficulty hard. Units 5 Sword Wrath, 1 Swift Giant, Swift Griffin, and the Swift Final Boss. Swift Griffin and Final Boss are here, and yes, both of them have Earthquakes, along with the Swift Giant, which is 5 Sword Wrath for some reason. You should get your archers out of spawn ASAP, and as far away from these guys as possible, because the Earthquake can kill all of your archers very, very quickly. And take control of a Spiriton and start blocking and running, so you can kite all the giants around, because you will need to kite giants and their Earthquakes so they don't kill all your archers and you can actually DPS them down, because again, they do have insane amount of health. And yes, Castle Archidons can work. You want to build Spiritons over Archidons if all your Archidons die, and then you can just control them and let your Castle Archidons kill everything. But all the Archidons pretty much live, so now you can just control a Spiriton Hold block, because block works on these guys, and just let your Archodons take care of them. Rest, and that should be the end of the level. See, that wasn't so bad. Not with this strategy, and this is a consistent strategy. So yeah, that's gonna be it for this video. Bye.